Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here with Newt and Crystal, and our 70s drive-in trailer parody, Gorilla, just got selected to go on tour for Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Over 1,000 people from all over the world entered, and 10 were chosen, and we were one of the 10, which is awesome.
Yes. Now, Crystal, what is Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In?
I can tell you right here. Okay, so what it is, it's a Halloween haunt which blends a horror shorts film festival with the live experience of a zombie invasion. Each film will be presented by drive-in expert and horror host Joe Bob Briggs and his celebrity friends. As real zombies invade the audience, the on-screen entertainment will interact with the live action to create a scary, fun, and immersive experience unlike any other.
And it's kicking off on October 27th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and the 28th at the Rhodium Drive-In.
With future dates to be named later.
Hello everyone, we're here at Newt's former Spooky Theater for the first or second time, depending on when we upload these. So welcome back, or welcome here for the first time. So Newt, real quick, sum it up. What is this place?
Oh, so I used to be the operator of the Anthony Wayne Theater in Wayne, PA.
Yes.
And now it's just sitting here. After COVID, it closed down. And,
Yes.
So it's abandoned.
Yes.
So we thought, why don't we do a list of horror movies about abandoned places?
It is the Halloween season. We want to do recommendations. We got Crystal here. So everyone leave your comments about how she's the best part of the show again. And
I don't know, from those people who I told that Hack the Movies was coming here today.
oh, they were very excited.
I put Welcome Hack the Movies on the marquee, and these people were at Color Me Mine, and they were like, what's Hack the Movies? And I was like, oh, he's like a really famous YouTuber. And all these people are like, oh yeah, no, I've heard of him. What time is he coming? I clearly hadn't heard of him, but it was amazing. So I texted them, and I was like, this is rich.
Anyway, so Newt, we got your picks first.
Okay, so yeah,
I'm going to go last. I'm going to be generous and go last.
Okay,
so
yeah.
you go first.
Yeah, so I picked these are some recommendations for movies that you could watch during the holiday season.
Yes.
About abandoned places.
Yeah.
So first off on my list was 2008's Doomsday by Neil Marshall.
Which I've seen. I saw that in theaters.
I did too.
Yeah.
I took a date to see that movie.
I did too.
And she was just like,
We enjoyed him a little bit more, but anyway, keep going.
yeah, so it's basically if you took Mad Max and Escape from New York and jammed them together in one movie.
It's definitely Neil Marshall just putting all the movies he likes in a blender.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about like a virus. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They have to build a wall around most of England.
Oh my god. Wow, it's a very topical movie, dude. Keep going.
And so the people on the other side who weren't saved, like half of them become like Mad Max cannibals.
Yeah.
And I love the scene where they're like cooking the one dude alive to the Fine Young Cannibals song, and it's like, that's great. And then the people who live up in the hills, where Malcolm McDowell is, they live like it's like the time of King Arthur.
Yeah.
And they live in the castles, but like you could still see the gift shop things because they just moved into them. And it's about like a team of like special forces people.
It stars not Kate Beckinsale,
Not Kate
but
Beckinsale.
Rhoda Mitra, I think her name.
who I like way more than Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and they're sent in, and she's got like an eyeball that like she could throw at places and then give them a 360 view of what's going on and stuff like that. And it's just like about these like people who have to go in over the wall and bring back like someone who has the cure.
Yeah.
But it ends up being like Mad Max. It's Mad Max, but it's awesome and it's balls to the wall. And
I enjoyed it. I don't know how good of a movie it is, but it's definitely an entertaining movie.
I like the girl with all the weird tribal tattoos. I thought that was kind of cool.
So next up you have Rats Night of Terror.
Yes, another Mad Max ripoff. It's you've never seen Rats Night of Terror? I have the poster framed in my living room.
Of all the movies. Anyway, keep going.
It also stars Greta, who's a friend of mine. She was an Italian actress. And she plays, her name is Chocolate, and she's the only African-American character in the movie.
Okay.
Everyone in the movie dresses like they're a reject from an Adam and the Ants video.
Okay.
And they're like scavengers, and they have to go, and they come across this town where there's food, and there's water, and there's everything, and they don't get it.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where they pour flour on Greta's head, and she's like, look at me, I'm white like all of you, and does a dance. And I was like, movie, can I speak to your manager, please? They find out the reason why nothing's been touched there is because rats are flesh eaters, and they've come up and they are killing everyone. But the rats in this movie were played by, and I don't know if this is a politically correct term, guinea pigs.
How dare you?
I was gonna say Italian American pig.
Yes, please, Italian American pig. Can you believe this?
They spray painted guinea pigs. Okay, and it's ridiculous.
When was this made?
80.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the time where you can
Yeah,
just
like
get
in
a-
the 80s.
Yeah,
right? There's
and
all,
it's
like, there's no-
Italian. They're just holding it by the tail, like smoking.
Oh,
a cigarette.
Italian? They don't give a shit about this. Spray paint those animals.
You've seen Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. Okay, so rats, aka
Wait,
Italian.
what made them want to be flesh eating? Like,
They just
what?
because
They
of
just
like
are?
the planet is radiated, so they're all flesh eaters. But the movie has the greatest ending
Okay.
to any movie ever.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this is above Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
The Tim Burton version.
Okay.
So-
yeah, real hard to beat that ending, but keep going.
The one dude from 2019 Fall of New York and Greta's Chocolate are the only two survivors, and all their friends have been like eaten, and like we're all like they're having sex, and she's in a sleeping bag, and like the rat is in there with her, and it crawls up her vagina and out of her mouth, and they don't show it to you, but you know what's going on, and then it comes out of her mouth. But the movie ends with they survived. They burned all these poor guinea pigs alive, like for real.
Wait, she survived that?
No, she died. The other two
okay.
survived. I'm just telling you the highlights of the movie.
Okay, I'm gonna say
I'm
you
getting
don't survive
so
that.
confused.
How do you
no.
know? I don't know.
No.
So they get to the surface, and there's all these guys in like hazmat suits,
Yeah.
and like, oh my god, you saved us, thank God. And the hazmat takes his mask off. He's a human rat hybrid, and that's how the movie ends. And I was like, yes! Justin and I saw it at a Exhumed film show one time, and we were so happy at the end of that movie.
That's a good way to end
It
the
was
movie.
really good.
Okay, so next you have Creepazoid.
Creepazoid,
Oh
directed
my-
by David Duchovny.
Oh my
Who
god.
directed softcore gay porn under the name Dick Chasin.
I love David Dakota.
I do too.
Well, not his gay porn stuff. I'm sure it's great.
I mean, I've seen, was it 13, not 13 Mockingbird Lane. It was like, he did one of those movies. He did The Killer Eye for Charles Band.
Right, I've
which
seen
just
that
has
one.
a lot of dudes like shirtless, like there's a lot of belly rubbing for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. Just got,
He did Bigfoot versus, or W.D. Cooper?
B.D.
Cooper.
B.D. Cooper versus Bigfoot, which is the greatest title, and the movie is just like he invited a bunch of like young actors
Okay. Up to his house.
to his house, and it's just a lot of like guys like
Was that a ghost?
it was a ghost and not my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
Creepazoid is another Mad Max ripoff, a group of scavengers led by Leanna Quigley,
Oh.
who was in everything in the 80s.
I'm in it. I'm in. I'm into it.
There's acid rain, so they have to hide in a warehouse. And while they're in the warehouse, they realize that like there was experiments that were going on there. And then what you find out is there's basically the Xenomorph. It's an Aliens ripoff, but like made
Okay.
for $9.54. But it has Lana Quigley in a shower, so that's good.
Okay.
It has the monster completely overlit, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
It's so crazy. It even has like the John Hurt like scene at the breakfast table, but instead it's like a dude who like just kind of sits up and like black stuff comes out of his mouth. And you're like, good enough. But the movie's not long enough, so he kills the monster, and you're like, oh, there's like 10 minutes left. So then the monster gives birth to a baby monster that the guy strangles with its own umbilical cord, and the movie ends. It's awesome.
Okay. We'll definitely see that. Wait, what was the abandoned part of that?
Yeah.
The abandoned part? Oh, because they're in like an abandoned warehouse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I missed the abandoned part.
Anytime you say Mad Max stuff, you just automatically assume
I feel
it's
like everything's like a
wasteland.
Mad
Yeah, everything.
Max, like,
I feel like you found a
everything
loophole
is, yeah.
in our abandoned movie thing.
Just because they're
Mad Max
movies
ripoff,
that I
Mad
like.
Max.
Okay,
The
okay.
next one, if we're sticking with the dead baby theme, I'm gonna go with Anthropophagus.
Okay.
Anthropophagus or Grim Reaper
Alright.
features porno Holocaust star George Eastman.
Oh, Porno
I don't know
Holocaust.
if you've ever seen Porno Holocaust.
I've not.
The main actor who, I mean, so like, I don't know, Italians. These are like main movies, but like people have like full-on pornographic sex in the movie. There's one log in this movie that gets more action in 80 minutes than I've gotten in 38 years. All right? But the main actor has genital warts.
Oh wait, I know this
He was
guy.
also Italian Batman.
Wait,
Okay.
actually had it?
And
Yes.
they're just on full display in the
Oh.
movie.
I watched a review for Italian Batman. They mentioned his warts, so I
Yeah.
knew that there was an Italian actor who, for some reason, kept getting jobs where his dick was shown, despite the fact he had genital
Wait,
warts.
what movie did you just say it
was a review for?
Italian
It
Batman.
was Italian Batman.
And they show.
Yes, and they show it in this
the
movie,
Italian
too.
Batman.
Yes.
and he rides a bicycle.
He rides a bicycle.
Anyway,
Yes.
so
Anthropophagus, George Eastman, and Portal Holocaust has an amazing soundtrack, by the way.
I see that.
I have the soundtrack. It's
is it
great.
Riz Ortolani?
It might be. Anthropophagus is George Eastman is this guy who is in a shipwreck, and him and his family are set adrift in like the Greek Sea, and he goes crazy and eats his wife and child. So now he's insane, and now he's on an island, and he's a crazy monster man. And Tisha Farrow, Mia Farrow's sister.
Who I'm not going to say anything about because the internet already decided, despite the fact the evidence proves that she's a horrible person. Anyway, keep going.
But Tisha Farrow was in Zombie 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dear Prudence is actually written for her. The Beatles song, apparently, because she was friends with them. I think that's
wow.
what I read somewhere. I could be wrong. It was the internet. I was able to alter my own Wikipedia, so... Tisha Farrow, this movie actually got her to quit acting because she's like, I'm good.
No, Anthropophagus was enough
So
for
her and her friends, they wash up on shore on this Greek island that's completely deserted, and then one by one their friends get eaten by the Anthropophagus man. But the scene that this movie is remembered for is there is a pregnant woman in the movie, and the tarot card lady is like, don't go to that island, and like he literally pulls the baby out of her and eats it. And it was a skinned rabbit. But that's the scene that got the movie on the banned list, the video nasty list. But like, yeah, that sounds vile and disgusting, but the movie has some really cool imagery in it.
So when I thought abandoned things, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, that spooky house that they
Yeah.
go. I wasn't expecting baby eating.
wanted to
goddamn.
go-
Do you know who you're
I
asking?
wanted to go outside because I want people to look these movies up and see them, and then I want them to step away and go, you know what? I've had enough internet.
Hold on. I love that you picked Mad Max Room as if the planet is abandoned, and that was.
Yes.
So Newt, I love your last pick here because I'm actually a big fan of this movie.
The last one is Carnival of Souls.
Yes.
From the 60s.
The original.
The original. Oh yeah, not the
Yeah.
one with Bobby Phillips, I think. was
Yeah,
her
you
name.
mentioned being into that chick. or
I
something.
really liked Bobby Phillips in the night. She's in that great X-Files episode with the cockroaches.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anyway.
So Carnival of Souls is a really low-budget movie filmed in Utah in the 1960s, and it's about this woman who gets into a car accident at the beginning, and the car goes over the bridge, and it like messes her up. So she moves away to play the organ in this like small town, but she's haunted by this pier. That's like, it's got this old music pier and amusement area, and it's just got these cool images where she's being followed by this like man with like, a white face and black around his eyes.
There's a really good scare where she's like looking out the window as it's driving, and he's just in the reflection standing still. I used to put this movie on for Halloween. I had like an inflatable screen and a projector, and I would just put it on my front lawn and just play this on mute.
It's in the public domain too.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
easy
was
to
like a
find.
direct. George Romero said it directly inspired Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
David Lynch said that it had a heavy influence on Eraserhead. And it just like the idea of the place was called the Salt Air, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was torn down like right after the movie was made. But it's just this cool old abandoned kind of like Asbury Park kind of look to it. And there's just all these scenes of her like going there, and there's like that scene where they're having like a dance and they're all spinning really fast, and like when the camera turns, the guy's like dipping her and she's one of them as well. It was just, I mean, it's not a great movie, but the first time I ever saw
cool,
it,
though. Like even if you just look at the photos online and stuff, that's enough to like kind of pique your interest and be like, I want to watch.
In the like mid to late 90s, Sci-Fi Channel did like a Halloween thing, and Rob Zombie introduced it, and it was the first time that I had ever seen it before. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, and it's got an ending that's very Shyamalanian, really. That doesn't
but
make
at the
any sense.
time, it's a good ending for the time.
Yes.
Like you watch it now and you're like, oh, okay.
And that the one girl who's dead is clearly like blinking, like
there's some stuff
But
there.
it's got some really good imagery. It's
Yeah,
got
like
some-
you said, it's public domain, so you can find it pretty easily.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Crystal, you brought your list.
I did.
What's on your list?
Well, they're a little bit more mainstream than psychopaths here.
Yeah, are there any, well, I guess one of them has some demonic baby stuff, but anyway, keep going. Keep
It
going.
does. Actually, the first one, Demonic Child.
Yes.
It's Silent Hill.
Okay. Not a great movie, but... I rewatched it recently.
Did you?
I never played
Yeah.
the video game, so I thought the movie was great.
The movie, I looked into the game. The movie is better because then there's stuff in the movie that only makes sense to certain characters who aren't. Anyway, keep going.
Now, I played the video game a little bit, and it does have that vibe. It's
Yeah.
really cool. But there's only one part where I started really focusing after, after the husband went looking for the wife
yeah.
and the kid.
Yeah.
After he got done like actually searching for them, then went back into the town. That's the part where I actually started paying attention because shit actually started happening.
Yes.
Everything before that, it felt like nothing was happening except some cool things. I was
But I
like,
think
okay,
that
the
was-
dark is coming.
Yeah.
It was cool though because it felt like a Fulci film
Yeah.
where you get through that stuff and then it becomes dreamlike.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was cool about it. And then the actress from Walking Dead, I didn't realize she was the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was
She's also in
the
X-Files.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah.
I love her. As soon as she took off her helmet, and I was like, ooh, girl crush.
But yeah, like I don't think the movie's great, but the setting, the abandoned town
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and I know everyone's like it's like Centralia, and then people go to Centralia and they get really let down because
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, okay, there's smoke in some areas,
Yeah.
but people expect. I've known so many people who went to Centralia expecting it to be Silent Hill, and they're like, oh, I know people who've driven through it not realizing. But no, Silent Hill, I rewatched again. The imagery is really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than the story, but there are stuff, I don't want to go too into it, but like, for example, the sexy nurses and Pyramid Head, those are based off
Iconic,
like the insecurities of the main character in the second game. They
I didn't know that.
They have no reason to be in the movie except
than
the director
people know
thought they
them.
look cool.
Because
But that's okay, because that was the whole movie. It's just looking cool.
but I made a post the other day and I was like, so did the nurses in Silent Hill have their tits out before or after they died? And someone explained, it's like, no, that character's wife was dying and he felt guilty because he was attracted to the nurses. I'm like, oh, that makes more sense than just throwing
That's
them.
why?
Yeah.
I just love the scene where he grabs the redheaded chick's chest and rips her
Oh,
skin
Pyramid
off.
Head in the first one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
one.
I was like, that was great.
was cool. That's why I said, like, everything seems to happen after the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
When it's the hotel and they go into the hotel and you meet her.
Yeah.
It just, everything now, I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Things are actually happening.
Yeah.
But
And then what do you got next?
What's the next one on your list?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen it. What's it about?
Oh, it's the one with Jessica Biel. I love that.
Oh,
my
Jessica
God.
Biel is so
I
good.
hate
Anyway,
And
yeah.
everyone knows Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
And it's because they go to what their family's abandoned. What was it? It was their abandoned, like a farmhouse.
The
was
grandparents
it? Or
Yeah.
live
their-
at this house, and it's abandoned now. And they're
That's where they
taking,
grew up
Well,
and-
they're actually going in the beginning because there was a disturbance at the graveyard.
Right.
Yes.
They think their grandparents might
Yeah.
have been.
Yeah.
So
So
they
they go and
dug
check
up.
it out.
Yeah.
They invite some friends. It's the sister, the brother,
Yeah.
and then 3 friends. And they go and also, they stop at the house where they
Yeah.
grew up and everything. And then they end up at
The neighbors.
At the
Yeah.
neighbors.
The
Leatherface's
Sawyer
house.
family.
The Sawyer
Yeah.
family.
You don't know their name yet.
Yeah, but you know,
And then everyone obviously gets butchered except Lori, right? It's Lori. Is the main character? Is it?
It's been a while since I watched.
no.
She's like one of the the
He
main.
says her name over and over and over again. Sally.
Sally.
Yeah.
Sally. Yeah. Oh my God.
Sally!
Yeah. Now I got his voice in my head. God damn it.
Because
Sally!
we stole the kill from that when Franklin gets killed for the Pokemon trailer that we made. When I get killed
Yes.
with a chainsaw.
Yes.
I return. Toby Hooper's first film. It was originally going to be called Head Cheese.
Yes.
And the reason that I like that movie so much and why these sequels and I like part 2. Don't
Yeah,
get me
part
wrong.
two's
I like
good.
part 2, and I like elements of part 3.
Yeah.
Part 3 has the greatest teaser trailer of all time.
Yeah,
where
it's Excalibur.
It's Excalibur with the chainsaw.
Speaking of the abandoned, they actually don't spend too much time in the abandoned house.
No.
But one of the creepiest things in there is when you see the daddy long leg
Oh,
nest.
they're all in the corner.
Like that one, and apparently that was just there. And they're like,
That's
well,
awesome.
let's film it.
Just keep it there.
Well, it was originally too that the armadillo in the first shot was a dog, and there was a dead dog they
Yeah.
found, and they were like, "This is too much."
Yeah. Who gives a shit about
People
armadillos?
dying. Fine.
But then he
Dead
followed.
dog,
Then
no.
Toby Hooper followed it up with almost a remake with Eaten Alive.
Yeah.
But with alligators. Have you ever seen that movie before? It's got William Finley in it, who was also in Funhouse. and he was in one of my favorite movies, Phantom of the Paradise.
Yeah.
But like, there's a scene with him and Burns, the girl who played Sally, and it's just like this is the work of crazy people.
Yeah.
Like, so what's the next one on your list?
Yeah, Crystal. So don't spoil this one for me because I haven't seen it, but sell this movie to me because I've always wanted to see it.
I don't know about really selling it because it was okay.
Okay.
So the
what's it
next
about?
one is Session
Completely
9.
disagree. I thought this movie was
It was
great.
boring.
All right.
It was
Session
boring.
9. Session 9.
Session 9.
Tell us about it.
With David Caruso.
Oh no, you already started.
Go.
You just love talking through everything.
Go.
If I had glasses, I would take them off right now and go.
All right. So Session 9.
So there's a bidding war to clean up this old psychotic hospital.
Yeah.
And this guy wins. They all have their own little things going on in their personal life, and I felt like they concentrated too much on that. 'Cause
Okay.
I just didn't care. I didn't care enough about these characters to care about their personal life.
But you're recommending this movie, so.
I mean, it was an abandoned. I was like, okay.
Well, no, I
abandoned.
mean, because each of the sessions are a tape.
But they don't talk enough about the actual sessions and the tapes of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like spoil anything.
Because it does have a cool ending.
It's okay.
It has a cool twist ending.
It's okay.
This was one of the. So this movie was one of the first films that was like digital,
Okay.
and it shows that it's digital. Like now,
Yeah.
when you watch it in blown up 4K and stuff, you're like, ooh, I saw it on video, and it doesn't
Yeah.
look as good. But I think like it's an intimate story. It doesn't like exceed, just like Texas Chainsaw. It's about one group of people in a place.
Do not compare it to Chainsaw.
No, I'm saying
That
and,
is
like,
not.
it doesn't
no,
know what's going on in the world around
How
it.
are
Okay,
you
okay.
comparing the two?
Okay, so Crystal, thanks for recommending the movie you
That you
apparently
didn't
don't
like.
recommend.
I love the
I
story.
liked it.
So if they played more on what the tapes were actually about, this
Okay.
girl, I mean, it's not giving anything really away.
So
it's the girl. She has different personalities.
Okay. is
And
the-
they don't go more into it. I don't care about the guy who fucking hits his wife.
All right,
Like,
all right.
Yeah.
Was the abandoned location cool?
It was really cool.
Okay, all
It
right,
looked
all right.
like
I-
it looked like Penhurst.
But I'm like,
Oh, I've been to Penhurst.
Mm.
I got to tell that story about Penhurst one day. Okay, well, there's a recommendation that's not really that's a recommendation to
it's
apparently
not
not watch
bad.
the movie.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's okay.
Okay. What do you got next?
But you don't think any of his were actually good?
Well, he
I don't wanna-
recommended that.
You're recommending people to eat
Yeah.
babies.
But Newt didn't go, like, here's my movie. It sucks. Don't watch it. That's why.
Yeah, at least mine, people will put it on and go, yo, that Newt guy from the Tony channel, something might be wrong with him.
Okay, well, what do you got next? Win us
the
back.
next one, I don't know if I'm gonna Blair Witch
The Blair Witch Project?
projects. Yes.
Okay.
Not Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
No, not that one.
Blair
Or
Witch, whatever
was it the 2016 version?
Whatever it was.
Which
Why is everything?
was it
even like-
Alien Invasion? Was that an alien movie?
I forget.
Because the
I
Blair
didn't see
Witch
it
was clearly an alien
in the new one.
in the new one because
Yes.
there's like the lights in the sky and the time slips and stuff like that. I was like, is this an alien?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
So
okay.
I know there was something in it, but I didn't see it.
It had the
but the
kid-
original Blair Witch.
the original Blair Witch project?
Yes.
That I like the premise of it. I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
As slow as that one is as well. A little bit going into it, but then it kicks up because I am a sucker for witches. I
Yeah.
love witchcraft and everything like that, and the different rocks they leave outside the tent.
Yes.
I started looking up. I was like, really, what is the actual symbolization behind
And that's
the pile
the
of rocks?
thing they
And-
did, which was brilliant. Nobody had done it before. This was the first movie to use viral marketing.
Yes.
And
I thought it was a true story.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that was the thing. People, I mean, granted, yes, Cannibal Holocaust came out first.
Yes.
The Last Broadcast came out.
Oh, I
before
met I met a guy who claimed he was the director of Last Broadcast,
Oh, really?
and he's still bitter about it.
because
Really?
Last Broadcast was well, it's not really abandoned, so we can't really use it. Last Broadcast is a really good movie, and it's a really good Jersey Devil movie
Yeah.
too, with a really cool ending. But Blair Witch, yeah, came out in '99. It used the internet to its advantage. It had like these documentaries on the Sci-Fi Channel about the witch that like created this whole mythology around her, and they made the actors kind of stay out of sight for a while, and they thought that it was a real thing. I saw it in the theater, and the theater started selling like Dramamine because people were getting motion sickness from the movie and stuff like that. And I remember seeing it and being like, I've already seen Cannibal Holocaust, so I'm better than this. But I think that movie is important because, I mean, the amount of money that it made, and it was a global phenomenon, you know?
And they're in the woods, but there is an abandoned location at the
Yes.
end.
Yes, there is the witches. What they say is her cabin, her house.
Yes. Which, in my mind, whenever I saw that, I'm
Witch.
like, well, What?
You said witch?
Yeah, which in my mind, when I saw that, like my brain kicked in. I'm like, well, if there's a house, there's probably a road that leads back. Why? I would. By the way, if we were in that situation and I hear you guys in a house, I'm gonna be like, well, that sucks for them. Where's
Or
the
even-
road that leads back to town?
Or even at night where he's screaming, I'm like, no, we can find him in the morning. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you know what? I didn't like that movie the first time I saw it as a kid because I guess I was expecting more. And then I rewatched it like in high school. I'm like, oh yeah, this actually is pretty good.
It's hard to watch movies like that because they've been put through the pop culture zeitgeist. At this
Yes.
point. And it's like I put myself in the mindset of when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, because thinking about the movies that were coming out at that point, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
you
it was
know?
definitely different because
Yeah.
we had like we had like a ghost.
A ghost again.
Ring twice if you want us to solve your murder. Okay, I guess that's not a ghost. But yeah, Blair Witch, I good recommendation.
I do it, yeah.
I mean, I guess
And the
I guess woods are abandoned except for all the
Well, the
plant life
cabin.
and animals.
It's the cabin
I know.
that's abandoned.
I just fucking with you. All right.
It's your last one.
So
All right.
moving on,
The last one is Ghost Ship.
which at the time of this, I either have a full review of it coming out, or it's already come out. So go watch that or stay tuned for that. But yeah, tell me. Now, this one, I think when we're going with abandoned locations, I think you picked a good one. I mean, it's not a good movie, but keep going.
Yeah. It's an abandoned ship.
Yes.
So
A
these
ghost ship.
A ghost ship.
What? Whoa. These people, they see this boat, they want to go and they want to scavenge it and
Yeah.
see what they can find. And all the people that have died on that ship basically bring these characters into their world. They don't
Yes.
know if it's from the past. They don't know.
A
if
ghost? Sorry, keep going. The ghost was trying to talk to us again. I guess he really likes this movie because it has ghost in the title.
I think that's what it is.
Yes.
And ship.
Yes.
Like friendship.
Yes. But yeah, no. I will say the movie's not great.
It's not, but it has the best. I rewatched all the movies I just said except Ghost Ship because there's one scene
Yes.
that I love, and it's the only thing worth remembering.
It's the very beginning of the movie. But I will say, like, as not good as the movie is, I probably say this in the review, the setting is really cool.
Yeah.
Like,
It
the
is,
sets
it
and
is.
everything are really cool.
The
and, like,
costumes are cool too.
yes, I would love to see that movie done again.
Or where
Or just a similar movie on a
was
ghost
even
ship.
there was
all
a
these-
movie. Wasn't there? There was a movie from the 80s that was kind of like that, and it was like
Right.
It was like Nazi ghosts.
Yes.
And George.
Shockwaves?
No. George Kennedy was in it, I think.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Because it had the poster was almost the same.
Yeah.
And then like the ship was like possessing people and making them like evil. But
Yeah.
in this one, the ship is actually like isn't the guy trying to bring his soul?
Just watch the review.
Yeah.
We get into it.
But the opening scene is great.
Yes.
But you can't say you want them to remake it because if we haven't learned from Silent Hill, Texas Chainsaw, and Blair Witch, all the ones have one that's already made. Was it all of them have a remake in the 2000s?
Silent Hill was a sequel. Silent
Well,
Hill.
this- yeah.
Okay, so here's my list of actual recommendations that weren't. I didn't use a loophole for any of these. My first one is House on Haunted Hill, 1999.
Nice.
Yes.
Now I like the first House on Haunted Hill. I love that movie, but the remake is actually, I think it's a good remake. It actually takes the original idea, but then does something very different with
Yeah.
it.
Jeffrey or what's his name? What is it? Plays Vincent Price in it.
Oh yeah,
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush. Jeffrey Rush
plays
is the Vincent Price.
in it, and then Famke Johnson, who's still one of the hottest
Yes.
women ever, plays his wife in
Yes,
it.
there's it's a fun movie, and the location, the setting is the abandoned hospital.
Yeah.
Which I guess a family still owns it, but whatever. The abandoned hospital is one of the best looking sets in a movie
Yeah.
I've ever seen. I think I have a soft spot for it because I saw it in theaters. Like my godfather took me to see it when I was like 9 or 10.
I was working at a movie theater when it came out. That's how fucking old I am, I think.
And it's
What
like
year was it?
99.
99,
I was 9.
and it was one of
No,
the
I was
first.
8, 9.
Yeah, it was one of the first DVDs I had. But no, it's really scary. Like the ghost stuff in it is genuinely horrifying. Even if you think the story sucks, even if you're like, oh, the original one didn't have supernatural stuff. Like, whatever, the changes are fine.
Chris Kattan is good in it.
Chris Kattan is great in it.
And then the all those bodies that are in the basement that are like flayed, those displays are really cool. It's like something out of the Mudder Museum.
Body Worlds or something. So I would highly recommend. That was a fun, like, scary jump scare one.
Which do you like better? Do you like the original or the remake better?
They're two completely.
They're
But,
so
like, if
different.
you had to pick one.
I would have picked the remake.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess for nostalgia, I pick the remake. Yeah, I think the first one might be a better movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the remake more.
It was
probably.
Vincent Price, William Castle did it.
Vincent
You know,
Price
yeah.
is-
Yeah, but no, it's legitimately scary. I was like horrified by some of the visuals in that.
And then that guy did 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, and
after that.
and then they did Ghost Ship.
Oh,
and then,
that's right, yeah.
And then that studio was like, all right, maybe Ghost movie. Maybe we'll branch out.
Gothica was the last one where
Yeah.
they were the only, like, Robert Downey Jr. was, like, unhireable, so they're like, just put him in the movie. And then they did a music video with Fred Durst and Halle Berry.
That studio is still around, but they branched off from just horror.
Okay.
Okay, so next one, I love this one, Grave Encounters.
I just saw this recently for the first
Yes,
time.
sticking with the abandoned asylum theme.
Yeah.
I do recommend this one, unlike your abandoned asylum one. Great.
I was actually thinking about Grave Encounters, and then I saw that you had that one, and I was like, well, let me go see if there's another abandoned asylum.
Yeah.
Grave Encounters is great. So it's set up, it's like a documentary crew, and they're doing like a ghost hunting show.
Yeah.
And the first half is so funny because it shows how those shows are just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like they pay a lawn worker to just say he saw stuff. They hire an actor to be a psychic. And it's really good. And then the twist is the asylum is haunted.
Yes.
And it's got some really good scares.
That fucking monster coming out of the doorway that like shows up.
That
and,
was creepy.
gifts all
The
time.
hands coming out of the wall.
Yeah,
were creepy.
which was
I like-
taken from that got ripped off from.
There was a YouTube video. Yeah.
Like when this is like from 2001. I
Yeah.
wrote a script. And this is back when Justin and I used to work together.
Yeah.
And Justin said, "Oh, you ripped that off of this video," and I hadn't, but all that was in there. I was like, "Oh, wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool."
What video is that?
There's
It's
a
just
video
this-
of just like these hands coming out of the wall, and then the
Yeah.
lights flicker, and then the hands are like one big monster.
Yeah.
Grave Encounters kind of use that. I also do like it's like a real simple scene where like they can't open the front door, and then they break it open, and it's just the hallway from another part.
The
like it
building's
changed.
like becomes like an MC Escher painting where
Yes.
it's just moving around on
Yes,
them.
and it's really, really good. It's a little low budget,
Yeah.
but it's really good. I never saw the
good.
second one.
I didn't either.
I hear it's not great.
Why isn't there more movies about abandoned asylums? Like, I want more of that.
Because we don't
Yes.
need to be reminded of how bad the mental health system
Yeah,
is.
it's really not a good reflection of like.
We learned from history, right?
Yeah.
So next, this is one I've seen recently, Night of the Demons, which is an abandoned funeral parlor.
I have been a fan of this movie since I was a little kid.
I always loved the cover of it in Blockbuster, but I
Yeah.
never like rented it. I don't know why. I rented horror movies. I just never got around to renting that one. And a fan finally gave me the DVD at a convention, and then I found out it was just streaming everywhere.
Yeah.
But he reminded me it's this movie I've always wanted to see, and then like the cover is real creepy.
The woman who played Angela in it hung out with us in our hotel room
Yeah.
at the
New Jersey
Horror Con.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought it was like a dude on the cover. I didn't realize it was a chick.
Yeah.
So that was a big shock. Linnea Quigley's in it.
Pushing lipstick through her boob.
Yes.
And I was just like, whoa.
But no, it is one. It's a very fun abandoned spooky house movie, and two, it's a really fun Halloween movie.
yeah. Yep.
It's really, really. It's a really good time,
The payoff at the end with the apples.
which has nothing to do with the supernatural
story, but
aspect
it's
of the
great.
movie. It's so good.
It's essentially a remake. It's Kevin Tini who did the Witchboard series.
Okay.
I'm Facebook friends with him. That's the only reason I know that. And it's basically just a remake of Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
But the opening title credits are great because they're all the little cutouts from Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia, and it's just really kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's a fun one.
I never knew that existed until I met you, and you did nothing but talk about. You've
Yeah.
talked about that so much.
It's got like.
like so.
It's got everything.
It's got
Out
a lot
of all the
nudity.
movies
the
you talk
sex
about, you talk
scene
about
in the
that all the
coffin,
time.
Yeah.
and the dude like kills them in the coffin while they're having sex.
I want to watch it again now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly recommend it. I did not see the sequels or remake. I heard to stay away.
Part 2 wasn't bad. Part 2 has the woman who played Marcia in the Brady Bunch movie. She was also in Zoolander. She's in
Oh,
it. Yeah.
Ben Stiller's former
She's
wife?
also in She was in something else we were just talking about.
Picture
Whatever.
here.
We'll cut that part out.
Anyway, on to my next one. This one, I think this is a good gateway horror film for kids. Monster House. Have you ever seen
I'm
Monster
wanting
House?
to see that.
Monster
No.
House is great.
Monster House is fun. I mean, it's not the best animation, but
It's a kids movie that has Susie and the Banshees music in it, and that alone makes me go, I'm in. I love Susie and the
So it's
Banshees.
basically there's this like really nice neighborhood, and across the street is this abandoned house, and it is a haunted house. The owner of the house has like a heart attack, or
It's
like you
Steve
think he
Buscemi.
died. Yeah, it's Steve
Yeah.
Buscemi. And he like gets taken out, and the house starts like haunting the kids. It's just really, really fun. It's got some genuinely scary moments, but I can see like if you have a kid who's into horror stuff and they're not quite. If you're not like my parents would be like, yeah, let's watch Halloween and all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
Okay, if you're a parent that like wants to ease your kid into horror, which you probably should do, this is a great gateway horror film because the Monster House is fun. It's a really good
Napoleon
location.
Dynamite is in it.
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite is it.
It's got that scene where it's like they're looking up the chandelier and they're like, that must be its medulla oblongata, and the one kid goes, oh, it's a girl house.
But yeah, highly recommend that.
And so
one.
then, and I think the same people did Paranorman, which I also liked
Paranorman's
a lot.
great. Paranorman's
really
great.
good. I think we saw that together.
Yes. And my last one, Creep, not the found footage
Okay,
one.
that's what I was wondering.
Yes, which has a sequel, which I haven't
Yeah.
seen. My girlfriend really likes it. I haven't watched it yet. Creep from 2004. I feel like this one gets overlooked.
I've never even heard of this one.
Yeah, I don't even know how I saw it. My dad like had a guy who would give us like bootleg DVDs or stuff, and one of them was Creep from 2004, and it was real shitty quality. But I rewatched it recently, and it's really good. So basically, it's in an abandoned. It's in the UK, like England or whatever. It's in an abandoned part of like a subway and a sewer system. Like the beginning, there's like these sewer workers, and they knock down a wall and they find a whole new tunnel.
Yeah.
And then there's this girl, Franca, what's her name? Potente, Run Lola Run.
Oh, that's what okay.
Yeah, the girl from Run Lola Run and the Bourne movies and a bunch of other stuff. So she's at a party and she hears that George Clooney is going to be at another party.
Batman?
Yes, she literally said no. And she wants to go, she basically is like, I need to fuck George Clooney. So this is the only...
Like the actor George Clooney.
Yes.
Like-
So this is the only horror movie in history where the inciting incident is a girl who's horny for George Clooney. I don't even think horror movies with George Clooney have that as a plot point.
But it should be, because I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Especially 2004. I mean, modern George Clooney is a silver
I will
fox.
take him at any time
Yes.
period.
So anyway,
Woo.
How about Return of the Killer Tomatoes, George Clooney?
yeah, he's the best one.
I'll still take it. I'll
So
still take it.
she goes to the subway to like head over to the other party. She falls asleep. She misses the last train.
Yeah.
Gets on another train. Some guy tries to rape her. Not important. There's a crazy monster in the subway.
Really?
Basically, she's being haunted. She's like teaming up with these homeless people to get out because everything's locked. Turns out it's not a monster, but it's like a really messed up, like mutated dude. And it's the guy who's the current bad guy in Mission Impossible movies.
Oh.
The dude who looks like a weasel
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
yeah.
Simon Pegg. Really good makeup effects. The setting for the stuff is great. It's now free on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
What's the abandoned part?
The subway. It's like they find like there's this whole abandoned subway and sewer system that's connected where he's been living for years, like stealing people from the surface.
Yeah. So it's like like a better version of Chud.
Yes, it is kind of, which I've never actually seen, but I know the
Yeah.
premise of it. And I guess like when they break this wall, he finds like new people he can grab. But it's like really, really creepy and disturbing, and I think more people need to see it because I don't even know how you
I don't
never
know.
even
I've never
heard
seen
of it.
If I heard that description, I would think like Midnight Meat Train.
No, okay,
Yeah.
no. We're gonna do Midnight Meat Train in the future. That movie is
I
good
saw that
for-
in the theater.
Yeah, that movie is something else. But no, this is
Or
like a
Raw
bit-
Meat. You ever see Raw Meat?
don't
That was
think
like cannibals that lived in the sewer, and it was based on like the Sawney Bean people. That
No,
also,
I never saw that one.
The Hills Have Eyes is based on as well.
No, I never saw that one. But yeah,
I
definitely,
love Hills Have Eyes.
I know I do.
definitely check out Creep 2004.
Whenever I hear creep, I just think of the song.
I'm a creep. Well, you know what? I'm sure glad there's no creeps in this theater.
Not
So
at
yeah,
all.
so those
Well,
are our
except for me.
those are our recommendations.
Yeah, check them out. They're
Yeah, or apparently don't check out Session 9.
It's not bad.
And any movie that's a post-apocalypse counts as abandoned, I guess, because God abandoned the planet.
Is that going to
Technically,
happen?
any
Like,
movie
is
that I recommend is
2020?
abandoned because I've abandoned hope
Yeah, okay.
years ago.
And Newt, thanks for letting us back or into your abandoned spooky theater.
That may or may not be haunted.
I haven't seen anything yet.
No, me either.
There are no monsters or ghosts except for the one that was trying to communicate with you.
Yes.
But I think they're gone now.
Well, I have a Ouija board phone.
Oh, okay. So thanks. I hope you enjoyed these. Make sure to like and share and subscribe and follow these two. Their stuff will be in the description. And ladies,
They're just gonna say nice things about her.
yeah, say nice things about. It's pretty sexist that you guys only gave her compliments in that one video. Just saying.
I need compliments.
Anyway, ladies,
help.
ladies or gay men, let your partner leave the room. I got an OnlyFans. It's $4.99 a month. You know, just be our little secret.
I just actually signed up. On your
There you
fans
go.
only.
There you
I
go.
highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it.
Woo!
And Newt signed up too.
I'm gonna start my own.
And then Patreon, buy a shirt and stuff. And yeah, let's get out of this spooky
Let's get out of here
theater.
before something spooky happens.
Yeah.
Or they ask me to come back to work here.